Let's do my mid-year freak out book tag thingy. I know that the middle of the year is in June, but I decided to be fashionably late to this, mostly because I just forgot to record this video, but we're not going to talk about it, okay? We're not going to talk about it. So I'm going to be answering these like 15 questions that I found online of pretty much like favorite books, least favorite books, all that kind of stuff. Now this book tag is called like the mid-year freak out because this is usually when people realize like, oh, I'm not going to meet my reading goal at all by the end of this year. And I am starting to be one of those people who's like, reading goals are stupid. And not because I don't think it's a good thing to like set a goal for yourself. I think goals in general are good, but reading goals kind of just make me feel like I'm reading not so much for enjoyment or for just the pleasure of like reading a story, but more of like, I need to consume as much as I can so I can meet this goal that honestly, I'm not going to think about this goal anymore after I finish this year. Like last year, nowhere close to meeting my goal, and that's okay. I don't think about it that much. But I did set my goal this year to 30 books. Do I think I'll reach it? Maybe. It honestly really just depends on how well I'm able to do the rest of the year, because I've read, I think, 15 so far this year, which is pretty good. I think I've already beaten what I read last year, which is progress. I still have to read like pretty consistently for the rest of the year, and once school starts, it's no promises. You never know what you're going to get when I go back to school for reading. So let's just hop into this first question, shall we? So the first question is the best book that you've read so far this year. And I think this would definitely either have to go to Babel by R.F. Kuang. I think this book has mixed opinions of people online. Some people really, really like it. Some people who I thought would really like it did not like it as much as I thought. You either like it or you don't like it. Some people just don't mess with R.F. Kuang's writing. I think she's a brilliant writer. Her plots sometimes are not the best, but I think this book is not necessarily as much plot driven as it is like thematically driven, and so I think it's okay. I also know for sure that the book that I'm currently reading is probably going to be one of my favorite books of this year and maybe of all time even. I don't know. And that is On Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. This book is so good. I'm literally only like 47 pages in, and it's already like, I've been underlining literally every single line of this book. Everything he writes is beautiful. The book mainly revolves around this son and his relationship with his mother as well as his grandmother and just mostly his family members. His mom is from Vietnam. He's from Vietnam. Family's from Vietnam. His grandfather is an American though, who was stationed there during the Vietnam War. It also talks about like how his interesting relationship with his mother, as his mother has really given everything for him, yet she has also in some circumstances not treated him the best, and it's this like complex like duality between those different sides of her. And I literally don't even know what the rest of it's going to be about, but so far I think it is so beautifully written. I do think Ocean Vuong is a poet originally, and you can tell because some of the things that he like writes are just so beautiful, and I think he did really well like kind of transferring into a book. So I am so excited to finish this. I'm already reading it and to see just like where it takes me, because it is so good so far. Okay, next question is best sequel that I've read so far in 2025, and I have to admit that I have not read a sequel at all during this year, and I don't know how. I have read a prequel. I read the new Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping book. But yeah, I have not read any sequels. I haven't really been reading series that much. I have gone through phases where I've really wanted a series, and then I've gone through other phases where it's like I can't continue on a story for more than one book. Like I kind of have a really deep appreciation now for like books, especially fantasy books that wrap it up in one book, or even in duology. It's like, yes, this is how much I can take. Actually, wait, I'm totally lying. I read All of Our Demise. It's the second book in the All of Us Villains duology, and it was really good. I really like that series. It's really well written. It's kind of like magical realism, Hunger Games-esque like tournament style, but it's really good. And both books take place during like the same tournament. Like it's not like one takes place during it, one takes place after it. They're both in it, and that like, it was really good. I do recommend that book. Okay, new release that I haven't read yet, but I really want to. This one has to be Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I love V.E. Schwab. I've read A Darker Shade of Magic, The New Threads of Power. That's like kind of a spin-off from that same series. I've read Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which is also a really good read of mine this year. I actually really like that book. And I want to read Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil so bad. It looks so good. I kept seeing it in all the bookstores, especially when I was in England, and they had like the signed copies and stuff. And there was even this one bookstore that was having like if you buy the book, then you'll get a free ticket to meet her or to go to like one of her talks that'll be here in like a week. And unfortunately I was on vacation and couldn't like leave my family because we were also going to be in a different city by then. But I want to meet V.E. Schwab so bad. She is such like a genius when it comes to magic systems. Like, no one can do a magic system like she can. She's so unique with it, and I love her writing as well. So I'm really excited to read that one, and I need to get my hands on that book immediately. I just really don't want to buy the hardback because it's really expensive. Most anticipated read that is going to come out in this later 2025 will have to be Catabasis. I don't know how to say it, but it's by R.F. Kuang. I've heard some mixed reviews about people who received the ARCs for this book, and I don't know how to feel about it. I'm really excited to read it though, because I do like R.F. Kuang's writing. I've now read Babel, the first two in the Poppy War trilogy, and I want to read Yellowface, and she's just, people either really love her or just like don't really mess with her that much, and so I really want to at least give it a try, because Catabasis, just the plot of it sounds so interesting, like having to go into like pretty much like Dante's like Inferno, the 9 levels of hell, to retrieve the professor. That is such a cool concept. So I'm really excited to get my hands on that one when it does eventually come out. I actually don't know what date it comes out, but when it does, I will be in the bookstore buying that. Biggest disappointment of 2025. This would have to go to The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. And I kind of hate being like, I hated this book, because I think it was really recommended. And it's one of those books that everyone's like, everyone should read their lives. And while it is somewhat well written, I didn't love the writing style. And I also there's not really a plot, which I'm kind of a plot person. I've realized I need like some kind of plot to be going on for me to be invested in it, or some kind of storytelling. This one seemed to be more of like a person's descent into, I wouldn't say madness, but something like that. And it was one of those books where it's like, you're supposed to kind of be like, why are you doing this to the main character? But it was more of a, I think you're supposed to have sympathy for her. And I did, but I also didn't at the same time. And it's just not the best book. I gave this 2 stars out of 5. I thought I was really gonna like it, and like I bought it at a used bookstore because I was like, oh my god, I've heard people talk about this book so much, and it just did not live up to what I thought. And I think that might also be that like I just go off what people say online a lot, and I'm like, okay, people love this book, I bet all of it too, and then I actually read it and realize that I don't have the same taste as everyone online. And so I'm going to have different opinions, and that's okay. Okay, the next one is the biggest surprise of 2025. And this would have to go to a book that I picked up on my last day in England. And I ended up reading it in pretty much, I think, 2 days once I got back. And that is I Who Have Never Known Men. This book surprised me because I knew it was going to be good. Like, I had hopes for it. But it was so like philosophical in a way that I wasn't expecting. I was expecting it to be at least like deep and thought-provoking. But how philosophical it was, I took philosophy in high school and I liked it. I liked like the thought-provokingness. The thing about philosophy is that a lot of the times people who study it tend to study that which is written by a lot of like really old white men who lived like 400 years ago, or if it's recent, it's usually a lot of men. And I think this one being from a woman and also focusing on like kind of more of a woman's perspective, all the characters in this book who actually talk and who have personality are women. The only men are the guards who are in for a bit of it, and they don't do anything other than guard them. It philosophizes and comments a lot on being isolated and being alone in individualism, and just having your life change so drastically, but also being one of those people who never knew what life was to begin with. And it's really good. I do recommend it. It's short, it's pretty like easy to digest, but it's also very like, wow, it's the best way I can describe it. So for favorite new author, which is like the next question, I think that it would have to either go to Ocean Vuong, who I haven't even finished the book, but I just know that I'm really going to want to read some of his other stuff as well. And then also to Mona Awad. She wrote Bunny, which is a book that I did give 5 stars to. I don't know if has changed much recently. I did read this over like about a month and a half ago, but I thought it was really interesting and kind of like thriller-esque-ish. I don't know how to explain it, but it's very like psychological, like, wow, what's happening? Kind of goofy, kind of crazy. You're not really supposed to know what's going on. And I really do want to read some of her other stuff because I really like her writing style and like her characters and how she like crafts a story out of it. I thought it was really good. Next question is newest fictional crush. And I don't know if it's just what I've been reading lately, but I haven't read like a fantasy book where like the characters or there's like a love interest of like a man who I would be attracted to. I've been reading a lot more like lit fic, and even if it is like magical realism or fictional, romance is not a huge part of the story, and so that's why I haven't really been like, oh my god, I love this character. It's in that kind of way. It's been more of like, I really appreciate this character and think they're great. Am I romantically attracted to them? No. So I don't really have an answer for this question. I'm sorry. I wish I did. I feel like this is a good question. I don't have one. Okay, for this next one, it is books that made you cry, or a book that made you cry. And right off the bat, I was like, it has to be Song of Achilles. This book, huge Greek mythology nerd, grew up on Percy Jackson, grew up learning Latin, grew up with all the myths. I knew how this was going to end. I knew what was going to happen in it. And yet when that ending still happened, I still bawled my eyes out. So I don't know what I was expecting. The same thing would have to go for Sunrise and the Reaping. This book, once again, knew what was going to happen, knew what was going to take place at the end, still bawled my eyes out, still was crying. Literally, this is the book I think that made me sob the most so far this year, but I haven't been reading like super sad books, mostly just this, and The Song of Achilles got me to bawl, but this one, like, I was like physically sobbing. I wasn't just like a few tears, like I was like racked with sobs. It was bad. It was no one should have seen me when I did that. I gobbled this book up in I think less than 24 hours and then sobbed my eyes out afterwards. Okay, this next one is favorite book to movie adaptation that I've seen so far this year, and I haven't really seen any that are like adaptations. I did watch the We Were Liars TV show, which I read We Were Liars the book like 4 years ago during like when it was big on Book Talk, and I like it was fine. It wasn't as good as I thought, and the plot twist at the end was kind of like okay, like you're right, sure. The show was good. The main actress I think was not maybe the best choice to play that character. She still did good though. I watched it just to see the actor who will be playing young Haymitch in the Sunrise and the Reaping movie, so I'm really excited for that. But it was good. It did have me crying at the end of that show, even though, once again, I knew it was going to happen, and I still cried. Usually to get me to cry, you have to, like, surprise me with sadness. All 3 books or movies or shows, I guess, that made me cry this time, I all knew what was going to happen, and it still tore me apart. So I think that is at least commendable of, like, okay, you got an emotional reaction of me. Okay, this next one is the most beautiful book you've either bought or received this year, and that would either have to be On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. I think this is a really, like, good cover, and it kind of like really encapsulates what the story's about. I also think I Who Have Never Known Men, I think this color is very like artistic and kind of cool. It makes me feel like very like smart and educated when I like am holding this. And then I also just really liked Babel's cover. I think it's really cool, and I like that it has like the setting of it on there, and this book made me go visit Oxford. So okay, next is books you need to read by the end of this year. I have so many books. When I tell you my TBR is consistently growing, especially like Fable, I will see any booktuber, any book talker that I really trust review a book and say like it's good, and I'll immediately go and put it in there. I have so many books to read. I need to finish On Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous because of course I'm going to be finishing that within the next few days. Also need to read The Jungle. I did start it and I keep needing to read it, by Uptown Sinclair. And I think this book is it's a bit deeper, and it's obviously like a Penguin classic, so it's a little bit older, but it really talks about like capitalism and like immigrants being taken advantage of, which very topical, very much need to learn more about. And the meatpacking industry, which I'm a vegetarian if you didn't know, and I think it'll just kind of clarify like, yeah, I am a vegetarian, and I am not going to change that anytime soon after reading this book for sure. And I'll probably never change it anyway. And then I also need to read Khaled Hosseini's And the Mountains Echoed. I've read 1,000 Splendid Suns and The Kite Runner by him, and I love them both. So I did also start this one. This is the most books that I've had that I'm like in the middle of kind of at one point. And I can't read more than one at a time, but I have so many that are like already partially started. So whatever. I need to finish those for sure because I want to read them, and I think they will be good reads when I do read them. So that is kind of my mid-year reading wrap up. I know it's late. This is in fact not the middle of the year. It's past that. I can't believe it's more than halfway through 2025. Blows my mind. I can't believe it. My brother literally started senior year today for high school. Life isn't real anymore. I still remember when he was 6. And now I'm officially back to being a college student who's home for break, and their whole family's like either working or at school. So I'm kind of just like floating around like, what do I do with my life? So expect more videos from me because I have a lot of free time right now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you either found some book recs for this, and if you have any book recommendations that you think I'd like or just you thought were really good, recommend them in the comments. I would love to know. I'm always looking for more books to read, so let a girl know. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!